Okay, so in the first set of notes for R, we just talked about some very basic concepts, getting help, loading packages, the types of structures within R. Remember, I'm going to repeat it again here. We have objects within R and we have functions, and that's really it. And what does a function do? It operates, it does something on an object. And an object could be a vector, it could be a matrix, it could be a data set that we'll call data frame, it could be a graphic, it could be anything. And so we have all of these different structures that we need to now learn for the data types. Okay, so there's a lot in this set of notes, and I want to make sure you take the time to pause the video as we go through and try out these different data structures. I warn you, please do not proceed on until you understand a concept as you go through this video, and I will not give you a lot of videos per session, or a lot of time per session on these, because it's really important that you take the time to master the concept before you move on, because our programming is very different than SAS. SAS, you had to learn, the proc step and the data step. Here, there is a lot about the data structure that we need to learn. And this is probably going to be the hardest part of the course, but it's also the thing we have to do first before we can move on to anything else. So we're going to start with the most basic data type within R, which is a vector. And it's just going to be a collection of objects. They all have to be of the same type. There is a function that creates a vector, and it's just the C function, which stands for concatenates. Remember concatenates from the first part of programming. This is where you just stack elements and combine them together. To create a patterned vector, we can use also these functions sequence, or SEQ, or just the operator, the colon, to create a sequence of integers specifically. We can also use the function rep. So let's look at some examples, and this is where I want you to watch the video, pause the video, make sure you can program this. I want you to type this in or something like it, and make sure you can create these objects as we go through. So first I have just a basic numeric column vector. This is going to be called V1. So this is an object, V1, and it's going to be assigned this column vector, which has 4 elements. You assign it this way. You could also just use the equal sign here. So when you type it out, feel free to do that. And once we just type V1, we're going to see the contents of that vector. We could also create a vector of character values. So notice we have just the letters A, B, C, D, and we can combine them. So notice vectors have to contain objects of the same type. So if we start with numeric, we cannot then add character into one vector. These are specifically all numeric because that is the rules. And these are specifically all character because that is the rules with creating a vector. But there are other ways to create a vector. We could use that colon operand and create a sequence of variables going, or integers going from -3 up to +3. And so notice it just creates that sequence for you with a unit increase between each. We can change, we don't have to default to a unit increase, and we can use the seek function to do that. And here we've created the seek function. It's going to create a vector going from 0, the beginning point, the first, to 2, the end point or the last, and it's going to increase by 0.5. So we see 0, 0.5, 1, 1.5, and 2. We also could use the seek operator or function again, where we just control the length. So here I have a length equal to 6, so that means we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements within that vector, and it will automatically space those so we have equidistance between each of the elements, and that sequence of course is still going from 0 to 2. we could use the rep operator. And there's two different ways we use the rep operator. We could repeat the integers 1 up to 5. So notice if I just ran that inside part 1:5, it would just create a sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But here I've put it within the rep function so that I'm going to create 1 to 5, but I'm going to repeat each of those elements 2 times. So I get 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. And finally, we see rep 1 to 5, but this time I've changed my options from each to times, and it says I'm going to repeat that sequence 2 times. So I see 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay, so at this moment, go ahead and pause the video, program these in, save it as a file for my first vectors or something like that, so you can make reference to how to create vectors in R.